Welcome to another Unwinding with Fiber and Fabric and Vlogmas 2022. It is December 24th, Christmas Eve. And we have made it to this point despite the bitter cold weather that has descended, at least in my area. It sounds like quite a few areas are experiencing some unseasonably or seasonably cold weather. So I am bundled up, as you can see. I am in my Mrs. Santa Claus Christmas muumuu, my nightgown, and I'm going to bypass with a lap blanket or lap cloth today because I have enough fabric billowing around me in this nightgown that comes out once a year. But let's go ahead and grab the last bundle of fiber and let's just get spinning before anything happens that might interrupt the sharing of this spin. We have, let's put it there, another chocolate and another truffle. I will tell you, the chocolates were such a lifesaver yesterday because we experienced quite a few hours without power. I have herb green. This is a wonderful kind of mossy, earthy colored green. And I think it'll be a wonderful end to this spin. So yes, we we had the dreaded power outage yesterday. High winds in our area clearly took down lines, took down trees, gave us a little tiny bit of discomfort. We know that in other areas of the United States, there is worse weather. So I am very grateful because when our power went out, it was a situation that was easier, I think, for the power company to restore power. But power did go out in quite a number of areas to quite a number of households across our city and counties. So, fortunately, one of the things that we did when we moved here was invest in a generator. We had lived without one when we lived in Colorado, and I didn't want to live without one here, especially with the summer and the hurricanes. So staying cool is a little harder for me to do than staying warm. So I will have to tell you, it was so wonderful. Between the generator and the wood stove in the basement, and I have little battery pack, portable battery pack that I purchased because I want to be able to set up my laptop out in the backyard and record videos, etc. from there. I invested in a little battery, not so little, a nice sized battery backup that I can charge. I can charge my laptop, my devices, plug in USB lights. Oh my goodness, what a game changer! I do have oil lamps. I have a little propane stoves. I have all of the things that we accumulated in the years of worrying about blizzards. But I also now have all of these little battery charged packs, some of which could be charged with solar power, and I'm just amazed. I have little LED light strips, and yeah. And I was worried that I would have to record this video using all of that technology and having a generator going on in the background in order to get something recorded, something edited, and then using my phone as the Wi-Fi connection uploaded. But fortunately, the power was off after the recording of yesterday's and before the recording of today's. But I am very grateful. I have to tell you, it is a wonderful reminder of how very, very fortunate I am to have to have access to the technology, to have have the ability to keep myself and the kittens warm and safe during the storm. For us, it was mainly a wind situation. The sun came out. Not that it was at all warm, because the temperatures dropped down into the single digits. They're not supposed to really rise above freezing for a few more days. But the wind, the wind is what gets me. I don't miss the wind on the eastern plains of Colorado. Where I live is down at the bottom of a kind of a little more protected area. So it's only in days like yesterday, when the wind is just brutal, that I actually ever hear it anymore. So I spent yesterday afternoon reading. And again, another one of those wonderful little blessings. So my husband hooked up the generator, and he ran an extension cord to the pellet stove that heats my sewing room, which was also where my daughter lived when she was here, and so her bed is in there. And it's a big, squishy bed that I honestly struggle sometimes to figure out how to get out of. It's so squishy. But I always keep flannel blankets in there on it. And the cats and I curled up in that room, and we stayed warm and snug, and I read a book. And as it got dark, I plugged in an LED USB chargeable light that I could run off one of my battery packs, and I rested. And it was all I could do to bring myself to sit down. It was all I could do to turn the electronics back on, sit down, and do another vlog. But I have so enjoyed the spin along. I've so enjoyed this Vlogmas, and I wanted to see what my last fiber would be. And it is dark, and it is making me think. I mean, it really is like the dark that you see when you look out into a forest of pine trees, especially this time of year when there's not as much light during the day. So it is a lovely way to finish this bobbin and this spin along. So I wanted to pull out my my Mrs. Santa Claus Moo for this spin. I had to run a lint roller over it quite a few times. I made the mistake last year of washing it with my tree skirt before putting it away with the Christmas decorations. And, oh yes, the tree skirt is, had cats sitting on it all the time. So it absorbed a lot of cat hair, especially Kitty Putty's hair. And so it took some serious lint rolling, because I've discovered that Kitty Putty's hair does not necessarily, it gets cleaned in the wash, but it doesn't necessarily get removed in the wash. That cat, she is, she definitely is a fiber producer. I think in the next year I'll be spinning up some of her groomed hair. Because yeah, it is like spinning Angora. So, but I decided I wanted to wear this, and you might notice I'm wearing another hat. This one is a big floppy hat. The last two that I've been wearing the one I wore 2 days ago is one that is hand spun, that I think I actually have shown in a vlog somewhere in the last 2 years. The one that I wore yesterday was a purchased skein of yarn from a local yarn store that we purchased the first year we were here in January. We went out and about looking to see where different places were, and we found the yarn store, and I believe we bought it then. This one, though, has a bit of a story. So back in the autumn of 2017, we were getting ready to move, but then our contract on our house fell through, and we had to stay in Colorado a couple more months. Well, almost all of my craft supplies, certainly all of my extra fiber, was packed up and in storage units ready to be transported across the country. And I needed something to keep the anxiety down and something to keep my hands busy. So I went to the store and I bought 2 big Christmassy, one red and one green, Christmassy colored yarns. Just simple acrylic, really nice and soft. And you can see the camera may be a little on the dark side, but it is a red, and it fades from red to black and then back to red again. And the green is the same thing. And so I sat down and I knit up 2 hats for my husband and I. This red one is it's a big slouchy hat, but it's kind of a big muffiny top type, okay? The green one, on the other hand, I just kept knitting and knitting, and it has a long tail. Well, my husband, he wears it to work during Christmas. Last year he wore it, and this year he's wearing it, and he really enjoys wearing it because it keeps his head nice and warm. However, having a big pom-pom about the middle of his back, he said, is a little distracting. So he's taken and rolled up the whole brim to shorten the hat. So he has this big roll on his forehead going around. Said, I thought it was brilliant. The hat stays on, and he's got now extra layers around his face. But yes, he goes to work with this big green elf hat. But I made these hats, and I'd always said I wanted to make a match set of hats for my husband and I for Christmas, because we'd always had, just some store-bought, Santa type hats. And while they were great, they weren't really warm, and they were kind of itchy. And we actually only had one adult size. It was probably something we bought after Christmas when it was on sale. But I'd always said, well, I can knit and I can crochet and I can do these things. I should make us some Santa hats. So I did that year. And it helped keep my anxiety at bay. And it helped keep me in the Christmas spirit as we waited to see if our house would sell and we'd be able to move before Christmas. My husband, he shared a Facebook memory that showed that yesterday on the 23rd, we had left Colorado for the first time, or for the last time, or I should say left our Colorado home. So, yeah, it's just, this time of year brings back all sorts of kind of memories. And these things like this hat definitely also brings back what at the time was a tough memory. It was a tough experience, I should say. But now I have this really positive thing to remind me of that not so easy time in our life. And so it is the hat I'm wearing today. It's big and it's floppy. And I have my hair in ponytails. Not that you can see the behind the earrings. It's all decked out. And when I get done with this spin and uploading this video, I am going to continue to the rest that I started yesterday. Yesterday forced the beginning of the rest, and now I can officially rest. My husband and I have plenty of food to eat for the weekend, and maybe I might, after resting this afternoon again, consider doing some holiday baking on Sunday, but we'll see. It also might be something coming out of the freezer. Because I think we have met our goal. We wanted to have the festivities, the food, the fun of Christmas all through December. And I think we've done it. And we have plans for between Christmas and New Year of making jambalaya. And it's cold enough. My husband's thinking actually jambalaya on Sunday is exactly what we need. It is a different kind of Christmas feast, but he has a good jambalaya recipe, and he's thinking of making jambalaya for us for Christmas to help ward off the cold. So I am so grateful for those of you that have joined me on this journey. I will continue to post my calendar pages, my mini quilts on Instagram all the way through the end of the month. So if you're on Instagram, keep an eye out. I'm thinking of putting together a short music-backed video of all of them in sequence. And if I do, I'll make sure to post them on social media and on YouTube so everyone can see them. And guess what we now have done? 24 days of spinning, all spun up. Now it's just a matter of applying. But before that, let's see if I am correct. And my one... Oh, look! Surprise! It says a bubble bath. I will tell you, that has been making us laugh. I know a number of you have mentioned it. My kids have mentioned it. I would never, ever have guessed that this would have been the last one. The last one to pull. Next year, definitely, there will be more reading, resting, knitting, and bubble baths in my suggestion jar. Because whether or not I do Vlogmas, I don't know at this point. But I do know that having a jar filled with holiday suggestions has been such a delight. So much what I needed to kind of give me the nudge to try something different every day, other than sometimes the routine that takes over and the chaos that takes over during the Christmas season. I want to wish everyone out there, regardless of when they watch this, a very Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, a Happy Hanukkah, and a Happy Solstice. I know there's some other holidays out there that I am missing, so I will wrap it all up with a Happy Holidays. I hope that this season, whether you are experiencing frigid temperatures like I am, or the hot, sweltering heat like my daughter is, wherever you are in the world today, I wish you the very best and hope that you can unwind with fiber and fabric and friends and loved ones, and to do so at your own pace and with all the joy and love you can fit in to your space. So until the next video, which as I said, will either be New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, most likely, or on Distaff Day, I wish you the best. And once again, say Merry Christmas. And I will see you soon.